Welcome into another episode of Good Day, Bad Day, where you guessed it, we talk about who had a good day and who had a bad day at Unadilla Pro Motocross. We have to give a shout out to Yoshimura. They are the sponsor of this series. So if you're in the market for an exhaust, mountain bike parts, whatever it is, made and built right here in Southern California, give the guys at Yoshimura a call. They'll dial you in and they'll really get you set up. So thank you to the guys at Yoshimura for helping bring this segment alive. Now, let's just get into it, okay? It's easy as hell to say who had a good day and who had a bad day when there's championships on the line. But we're going to stay on the 250s at first. Always start at the 250s, then we'll bounce over to the 450s. Joe Shimoda obviously had a great day. He is a guy that is week in and week out performing at a level of a guy that deserves a contract. And I just put this on Instagram where he doesn't technically have a contract yet. He doesn't have one signed. And there was some murky things that were kind of going on with Murky Myrtle and all this kind of stuff. Myrtle's out of the picture. He is no longer with Joe. That was a big sticking point for a lot of people. He's no longer there. So Myrtle's gone. Honda's made an offer. Husky's made an offer. Pro Circuit's made an offer. Joe knows, he's told me this, Joe knows where he wants to go, but he hasn't officially signed yet. So I don't know exactly what's going on, when he'll sign, all that stuff. I feel like if it is already signed, just make it public. I don't really understand why we have to do these things where it's not public, but whatever. It is what it is. So let's get right into Joe Shimoda's performance today. That guy is on another level. He is full-on Spicy Joe, Wasabi Joe, whatever you want to call him. He is fully to his, I guess, full extent. Would that be the right word for it? He's riding to where I think a lot of people kind of foresaw him riding. Now, can he ride like this all the time? That remains to be seen. He's gotten hurt. A few people have even said like he's kind of prone to being hurt, so maybe that's why the contract stuff hasn't been done before. But to me, it's pretty insane to be able to see somebody like Joe beat Deegan by, I think the first moto was like 40-something seconds or 30 seconds, close to there. I mean, I understand Deegan, and we'll go into this in the podcast. We have the podcast this week for a deep dive. But Deegan, I don't think was riding to his full potential. I think he was trying to just, make sure that he wins his championship, which is how I would do it. I would do the exact same thing. Winning races is cool. Winning championships is what matters. That's what you get remembered for, not for race wins, right? So Joe Shimoda just absolutely having himself a full-on day, going into contract season, going into contract talk. If I was him, I would take that contract, whatever that was offered to me, and be like, you got to add more to it. Like, look what I'm doing. That you're only as good as your last race. These last races are showing what Joe is capable of. And it's interesting to see kind of how this sport works and how it navigates contracts and all those kinds of things. But it is what it is, all right? Now, Dudney as well, moving off from Shimoda, Dudney, first performance, not bad. Like, it was very impressive to run top 10 at the very beginning. I think he got up, I think he was like 4th or 5th, somewhere on there. And remember, this is all knee-jerk reaction. So good day, bad day is all knee-jerk reaction. I'm not looking at my phone for results. I'm going off of everything that I just watched in the race. It's easier to do that when I'm not at the races. But seeing everything, how it is, and the deep dives and what we do on the podcast is for the stats and reviewing the race and looking at it again. This is just like knee-jerk reaction. Holy crap, what's going on? That's what a lot of bench racing is. And that's what this series is supposed to be. Dudney is performing at a hell of a pace for his very first national that I think is 16 years old. I mean, it's not common to have these guys like Gibson, right? He didn't even qualify. He didn't even qualify for the national. You have Dudney that is still, I believe, going to go back and race amateur or race Loretta's next year. I mean, it's crazy to me that Star Racing just keeps hitting and hitting and hitting with these guys. You had Davies come back, and Davies has to work himself back and everything. I think he's also going to be the future of the sport along with Joe and a few others. But it was interesting to see how these guys, these rookies, just come in and perform the way they do. So it was really cool to see the 250 class stack up the way that it did. I think there's a lot of opportunity that will be coming for some of these newer riders to kind of come in and fill some of the gaps that, either people are going to be moving up or whatever it is, right? Deegan's moving out next year. It was interesting. Now, those are who had good days. Let's talk about who had a bad day. It is fully time. Here's my panic button. Time to hit the panic button on Levi Kitchen. What the heck is going on with Kitchen? I don't understand it. And I feel like whatever voodoo magic that Mitch Payton had for a long time, the Star Racing guys like maybe made a better deal with the devil and like got it for them. I don't know. But it just seems like every week there's like something that goes on with one of the PC riders, but it's continuously Levi Kitchen. Like, what is going on with Levi? This dude was supposed to be a championship contender for Supercross and Motocross, and he's not living up to those expectations. And he already re-signed with Cowie, so he's not going anywhere. He's not going to change anything. And it's not a bike thing. Marchbanks and Hammaker have been both shown that they could perform on it. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me. I don't know what's going on with Kitchen. I like Kitchen. I want him to perform. But you have to say, who had a bad day? Sorry, Kitchen. I wanted to make so many puns and so many jokes about cooking and being in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I turn the camera on, I forget most of them. But I don't know what's going on with Kitchen. He's got to get it figured out. And I think he can. I think he can figure it out. But he's got to get something going. It's not working. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. But he's got to do something. This is why you're a pro and I'm not. You can fix it and you can figure it out. Moving on to 450s. You have to put the best day is when somebody wins a championship, like I said at the beginning. Jett Lawrence crowns himself 2025 450 Pro Motocross Champion. You cannot have a better day than that. You can't. There's nobody out there in the 450 class that, I guess you could give honorable mentions to like Hunter and Eli and even Roxon coming back and being injured and everything, coming back and performing. RJ going up front. You could give good days to those guys too, but you have to focus on when championships are won. That is who gets the attention. Jett Lawrence is a freak of nature. He's an alien. He was put on this earth to destroy people at motocross and supercross. And I thought the one thing that was kind of interesting for me today was Johnny O'Mara, who's trained Carmichael or been there for Carmichael, been there for James Stewart, is there for Hunter, is there for Jett. He's a legend in the sport. He mentioned something that he has to figure out how to keep Jett motivated. I wish they pried a little bit more, because that has been kind of the one thing about Jett is if he can win all these championships and how long he'll win and all that stuff if he's not bored, right? So if he gets bored, which Johnny O kind of not hinted at, but he just mentioned it. And so it's like, oh, maybe there is a little bit of that, like he needs somebody to kind of compete with him and to light that fire every once in a while. And I think Deegan coming into the 450s is maybe a year too early. I think if this was next year, I would say, okay, maybe this is at the perfect time. But I think Deegan's going to light a fire under his ass. And I think that's kind of cool. But that dude just made so much money. And talking about Jett, he made so much money and made so many people happy. Yoshimura sponsored bike. Him and Joe both winning. Yoshimura bikes. Just keep that in mind. You want to win, you got to have a few things. You got to have ETS racing fuel, and you got to have a Yoshimura exhaust. And then you'll be just like Joe and Jett, all right? Enough plugging. I just had to do that because it makes sense. And who had a bad day is, this is kind of interesting to me is Prado. What the is going on, right? What is going on with Prado? He had a good performance last week. He was running up front. I think almost got the whole shot, or did get the whole shot. He was right there. And for him to just sink back the way that he did, it's just, I don't understand what's going on. Like, if I was him, I would not cut bait with Cowie, because if you cut bait with Cowie and you go to KTM and then you don't perform on the KTM, then it's all on you and then I don't know who would want to offer him a deal, right? So you got to be a little careful with that. You have to, and if you wait and maybe write out your contract with Cowie, you could just say, hey, the Cowie sucked. And then you have reasonable doubt or whatever that is to get on a different bike and a different contract. So that was interesting to me. I don't know exactly what's going to go on with Prado. But then I saw the stat where I think he's 6th in points for the season. I'm like, damn, that's pretty good. Like, I understand for Prado, that's maybe not good, but that wasn't, I thought he was way worse than that. And to see him, and like I said, this is a knee-jerk reaction, but I remember seeing it on TV, and I don't want to look in my pocket and review it, but I believe he's in 6th in points. And to me, that is a flat-out insane stat to have when it seems like he's been getting 15th and stuff like that, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't know what the heck Prado's solution is either. It's just like Kitchen. I don't know how to fix them. And if I did, I wouldn't be talking to you on this camera. I'd be at the races every weekend helping these guys. But so in the 450s, good day. Oh, honorable mention, Dylan Ferrandis. That dude quietly had a pretty good day too. And he's turning in some good results for his new ride, which is in Ducati. So yeah, it's just overall an interesting day. We'll deep dive way more into it on the actual podcast. We have a very good guest, and he uses Yoshimura, he uses ETS, and he rides Honda. That's all I'll tell you. So you could figure out who's going to be on the podcast on Tuesday. We have it scheduled to do on Tuesday. Today's Saturday, right after the race. So yeah, really had a good time. Like I said, go in the comments and say your piece. Say who had a good day. Tell me why Levi Kitchen is going to have a good day, or tell me why, Hunter had a bad day, or whatever, right? Just that's what this is for. It's an open forum, and I love talking to you guys about it. I'm a fan like you are, and I just have the ability to press record on a camera. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Like it, subscribe, share it with a buddy, talk crap. I don't care. You guys can do whatever you want, but I enjoy making them. So thank you guys. See you guys next week.